We're back and the Giants still suck. That's right. They lost to the Bears after having a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. They also had double-digit penalties because they are undisciplined. They also decided that putting Russell Wilson in was a good idea instead of Jameis Winston. There's just so many things that this team does wrong that is so mind-bogglingly infuriating. And I just can't understand how they manage to consistently blow leads in every single game. And the thing is, like, every game has been kind of different how they've given up the lead, right? Like, they were up 19-0, then 26-16, and then then they blow that game and give up 33 points. And then, the Eagles game is obviously a cluster, and then last week, of course, they lose by 10. So it's just a never-ending battle, and I just cannot understand how it consistently happens over and over again. There was so much talk about, oh, well, the defense is so injured. Oh, they're missing this, they're missing that. We were missing two players on defense. We were missing Paulson Adebo, who obviously we all know is light years better than Tay Banks. I mean, that's not a surprise. So obviously that's a big loss there, and Micah McFadden. But that's not a reason for you to consistently give up double-digit leads in 4 games in a row. How about this? It's just unbelievable. And the offensive line, I give some credit that, when there were issues on the right side, I saw them move over Andrew Thomas and he helped out Jermaine Illuminor. But why does Jermaine Illuminor seem like he had no idea what he was doing on multiple plays? Why was he looking like... I just saw multiple plays where he's not blocking anyone and he's just standing there and there's a free rusher just blitzes right by him and then Dart gets sacked. I can deal with that when you're Evan Neal or when you're Marcus Bowe and you're a rookie and you're still learning. Jermaine Illuminor? Come on. I know you didn't play for a week. I think it was only 1 week. You're better than this. What are you doing? Dart got sacked 4 times and they weren't all on Jermaine Illuminor, but... How about your quarterback? Why all of a sudden are we having all these miscommunications? Why do you have no idea what you're supposed to be doing? What is with the confusion? And why couldn't they block for the life of them today? Listen, I know that the Bears defense was good at slowing down the run. I understand that. Okay, fine. But the Giants were able to run the ball towards the end of the game. Why couldn't they open up a single hole? And also, why are we always running up the middle when no one can open up a hole? Try a little more outside run. Try something, anything. I don't know. Just the lack of excitement. They do one flea flicker that ends up with Dart, just a little dump off to Theo Johnson, and they lose a yard on it. It is so frustrating to have to watch this football team week in and week out. And, we're going to get to this later, but it's just like there's no accountability. We see some of the consistent worst performances week in and week out, Tay Banks being one of them, and just nothing changes. Nothing changes. You can make changes. You know that, right? And the thing that annoys me so much too is when the talk is like, oh, they're so worried about optics. You're worried about optics? You're 2-8. The optics are that you suck. Shouldn't you be worried about that? You're worried about firing people? Because why? Because it's going to make you look bad? You know what makes you look bad? Keeping the same coaching staff when you're 2-8 and you lose double-digit leads in 4 games. You have 4 losses in a row. And guess what? You're 0-4 in road games this year alone. This year, in 1 year, in 10 games. They're 0-4 in road games where they are leading by 10. Why are we always breaking NFL records for the worst team in the NFL? Every year under Brian Daboll, and I'm sure it's gone back even more than that, but the fact that they consistently break records for the worst shit ever is, you have to just be thinking, this can't be possible, right? There's 31 other teams and our team is just the one who consistently does the dumbest shit week in and week out every week for 4 years. Something has to not be right, no? It's really, really mind-boggling. And it continues. It continues. You know what is also unfortunate about this is that they're going to go home and they're going to play the Packers. And it's just I mean, the Packers are struggling in their own ways, but like, we're not going to beat the Packers. We can't even hold a lead in the fourth quarter. And, you know, in Denver, the whole thing was like, the whole narrative was like, obviously you're dealing with some injuries. And then it was like, okay, well, the altitude, and they got tired, and the Demaryius Thomas and the 33 points and the whole thing. Okay. What's the excuse for the last 3 weeks? You want me to talk about the Saints? The game indoors with the Saints? What was the problem there? Against the Saints. You know? It's just unbelievable. Truly, honestly. Like, if I didn't have to see these stats every week, I'd be like, that can't be right. And then I just have to see them over and over again. And, you know, you're like, when I see the same stuff over and over, it's got to be right. It's just frustrating. And I'm going to end it with this, because there is never accountability with this team. We have watched the same stuff over and over. And Brian Daboll and his snake oil salesman has convinced John Mara that all he needed was a quarterback and he could win football games. That's it. Just get him his guy and he's going to go out here and win games. Well, flash forward 10 weeks in. We've got Jackson Dart for 7 weeks now, and he's got 2 wins. So how's that going? How's your sales pitch going to John Mara? Obviously well, because you're still here. Shane Bowen, still here. With a defense who has more talent than the Niners, than the Patriots, than the Saints, than the Panthers, than the Dolphins, who just beat the Bills. I don't want to hear it. There are no excuses. There is not a single good excuse. Not one. I don't want to hear, oh, well, we don't have Paulson Adebo. Please go talk to the Dolphins and go talk to the Niners and then come back to me with a reasonable explanation, which you're not coming back to me because you don't have one. Oh, well, we can't fire Shane Bowen because, you know, we don't have anyone else who can call the plays. Is that going to be your excuse? Oh, we can't fire Brian Daboll. Why? Because he needs a whole year with Jackson Dart? Is that going to help? When Jackson Dart has 6 rushing touchdowns, is breaking stats every week by stuff that a rookie quarterback has never done before. And Jackson Dart is doing all of it. 2 rushing touchdowns in 1 game against the Bears. And we still lose the game. And it's not because everyone on the defense sucks. It's not. We have 4 first-round picks on our defensive line. And they're good. Dexter is having a tough year. Fine. He should have had a sack today. So Abdul Carter should have at least 4 sacks. But he doesn't, because you're trying Tay Banks out there who doesn't know his ass from his elbow. But sure. Let's blame everyone else. It is unbelievable, the excuses. And I know so many people were down on my Kafka. I'm like, Kafka's the least of our problems. We're consistently scoring points on offense for the first time in 4 years. With a rookie quarterback. With Darius Slayton, who drops 50%, if not more, of the balls that come his way. Who actually went 4 for 4 for 89 yards. Wandale Robinson, consistent factor. How about Theo Johnson? Theo Johnson, 7 of 8 for 75 yards. Only 1 drop. Only 1. After he also has consistently dropped balls. I don't, there's not a single brain cell in me that can come up with a good answer as to why any of the coaches should still be here, except for maybe Mike Kafka. Fine, I don't care. You can keep him. He's been good enough. And he's the assistant head coach. So if you fire Daboll, Kafka's our option. Great. I actually think with Kafka as the head coach, we might score 40 points a game. Who knows? But doesn't matter if you score 40 points a game when you have a defense who doesn't do anything. Or they do things for 3.5 quarters. And then the last half of a quarter, everyone's tired? In week 10? Your conditioning didn't kick in yet? I mean, the thing is, last year we could always be like, no, the defense is actually tired because the offense cannot move the ball and they're going 3 and out and they're turning the ball over and they're not scoring touchdowns. Last year, there was an excuse. This year, there's not an excuse. you're getting enough rest time on the sidelines when the offense is consistently putting together drives that result in touchdowns. The issue is Shane Bowen. And I get it. Like, I don't have a ton of faith that Andre Patterson is going to come here and light a fire under these asses and become Wink Martindale and blitz the shit out of everyone. And then Dexter Lawrence and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau are going to, have 15 sacks by the end of the year. Okay, fine. But like, I at least think that he knows Dexter Lawrence and some of these players well enough to be like, hey, let's change the scheme. Let's do something different. Instead of blitzing a linebacker once the whole game and then just letting it go. It's just so frustrating to me. It's like in no other place or any other job can you do whatever you want and make the same mistakes over and over again and continue to not only keep your job, but to go out there and be a starter every week, like Tay Banks. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And, if anything changes, of course, we're going to talk about it here. I'll do a whole episode on just that change. But I really don't have any reason to think that all of a sudden they're going to make a change. Because if that report is true, that after Denver, Mara was going to fire Dable, and his nephew, or whoever he is, Chris Mara, got involved and said, no, we can't fire him yet. And then they went out there and they lost to the Eagles. And now they've lost 4 straight. That's not enough. Like, what is enough at this point? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I thought the Denver loss was pretty awful. And then the Eagles loss was also pretty awful, where you let Saquon Barkley and a backup running back combine for over 200 yards on the ground. And that wasn't bad enough. When John Mara just in January said that he's sick of watching other teams run up and down the field on us. Well, you just had your division rival do it again. Again! For what, the 3rd time in a year? And that's not enough for you to say we got to do something different around here? I don't know what it's going to take. I truly, truly do not. So I'm not getting my hopes up. But like I said, if there's a change, we will talk all about it. If not, we are going to be talking injury updates and workouts if there are any later today. And, we're going to turn the page over to the Packers, and everyone hope that Jameis Winston is QB1, not Russell Wilson. So keep your fingers crossed and subscribe for more.